No Filter Show with Paul and Grady.
We are deeply honored and truly grateful for the opportunity that the Red Cross has given us to interview some of our local heroes. These guys are true rock stars.
Let's do this.
We are here with the founders of the Heart Walk Foundation, Tim and Penelope Eicher. Tell us a little bit about Peru.
Tim and I were on a second trip in Peru to learn Spanish, and we learned that one of the remote tribes up in the high mountains was facing starvation. All they could grow at their high elevations was potatoes, and they rotted in the ground, so they had nothing left to eat. And we were so moved and touched because we know there's abundance. Americans are very generous. We decided we'd do what we can to help them.
Once we were invited to go up into the villages, we talked with the leaders and listened to them for what they hoped for and what they needed. And it was clear what they needed help with most was sustainable food sources. So we began with building greenhouses and starting trout farms. The other main issue that they asked for repeatedly was education. And so we followed up our sustainable agricultural projects with education projects. The real heroes in the story of Heart Walk Foundation is the community in Washington County.
It's our community that's done the fundraisers, the yard sales, the donations, and the volunteering. They're the heart of Heart Walk Foundation.
And I am here with Adam and Kim Phillips. How are you guys doing today?
Doing well, thanks.
Adam, you recently had an experience with an elderly gentleman. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
We were called on an unconscious male patient in his 70s who was found unresponsive by his family members. And when we got on scene, he was unconscious, and what we in the medical field call agonal breathing means he wasn't getting the oxygen that he needed. So we rapidly loaded this patient and transported to the hospital where he later died. A couple days later, as I was driving by their home, I noticed that the grass was getting tall, and so I cut our lawn and then moved over to their house and cut theirs as well. Because I believe that a paramedic's job isn't finished when the uniform comes off.
You know, Adam, ever since he's been in the healthcare profession, he's just had a real passion to take care of people. And, you know, even an elderly gentleman that he did a call on recently was really lonely, and Adam noticed that. And the next day he took him lunch and they visited, and he's just had a really, took an interest in his patients. And even after he finishes the calls, he feels like he still cares about them.
I'm here with a truly amazing man, Curtis Larson. He's an associate professor here at Dixie State University in the computer science department. Curtis, tell us a little bit about your work with the 4-H.
So most people, when they hear about 4-H, they think of livestock shows and agriculture. Well, 4-H is actually a youth program that can be applied to any kind of topic that you want. And so here we're doing a 4-H program that involves robotics as well as computer programming. We're trying to take the younger kids, somewhere between 8 and say 16 or so, and we're trying to help them to see what they can create with the robotics, with the programming. So we're providing an environment for them to learn about those technologies, as well as be able to feel the excitement for having created something themselves.
So you do this after hours on your own time?
That's right. It's after hours here. We do meet here because this is where we have the resources to pull that off.
And I'm here with Lee Bracken, Mayor of Enterprise. How are you, Lee?
Fine, thank you.
Lee, I've heard a lot of great things about you and your family over the years. What are some of the most fulfilling experiences you've had in your profession or service?
As the EMS service?
Yeah.
As an EMT, you come into people's lives usually as a stranger at one of their darkest, most troubling or difficult times. They're scared. They're oftentimes hurt or injured, and so it's an opportunity to help lighten somebody's burden and perhaps make a difficult situation easier and better and more bearable for them and the family that's around them.
Is it true that you were the 911 before 911 here in Enterprise?
For many years, I either carried a two-way radio repeater or had a telephone, both here in my home and in my business office, where emergency calls come directly into that phone, and then we were responsible to either alert or page, or in some cases just telephone responders. So it was rather primitive, but we were able to accomplish that for many years.
And it was all volunteer.
It is, and still volunteer at this point, yeah.
I'm here with the president of B.A.C.A, Bikers Against Child Abuse. J-Dawg, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
What does B.A.C.A stand for?
Bikers Against Child Abuse stands for empowering children in their time of need when they're not able to help themselves.
So you guys stand up for the children.
We do. We are there when no one else can be there for them. We are there, as they say, is the bump in the night. We are there. Officers work 24 hours a day trying to keep us safe. And if those children need us there to sleep good at night, an officer can't sit in front of their house, but we'll throw two of us out there and we'll keep them there 24 hours a day, and we'll switch off people to make sure that those children sleep good at night and feel safe. Because whoever was there before couldn't.
Wow, Paul, we live in such a great community. These men and women have truly inspired me.
Oftentimes, their acts of kindness and heroism go unnoticed. Today, we were able to recognize them and their efforts. Thanks for watching.